back to Mcquivey Livin, and this is episode 5. And we are going to talk about one of the other questions we get a lot is, what about school? How do you school your kids? So we're going to talk about the 4 types of schooling, that the general types. Again, this is not exhaustive all the time, but we're also going to talk about laws, and then
we'll talk more about homeschooling online resources that we've come across.
And then the perks of traveling and schooling with our children. So let's get started. The first type of homeschooling is school at home. So a lot of people, there's really 2 general ways to do that. And so we have the online programs. And that's when in our previous money video, we talked about being a teacher online. So it's really, they log in, they have access to their teachers, and they do the work, and the teacher is the teacher.
And they report back to the teacher and everything.
And then they have another way to do school at home, which is curriculum. So you can choose a certain curriculum or be eclectic with it, and teach your kids. And you're generally the teacher there.
Yeah.
And then number 2, so we've chosen not to do school at home. That's just not, and we'll tell you which one that we generally do as a family. So,
and so the other one's called wild schooling, and it's a progressive parenting philosophy type thing, which encourages
creativity and child-led, completely child-led. It's where the children they do not follow curriculum. And so there's a lot of parents out there who do this and kind of just let their curiosity, let their questions go and be answered. And it's a beautiful way to homeschool your kids, and it's a nice choice.
Then there's unschooling, which
now unschooling is a term coined in 1970 by John Holt. He was never happy with the term, but he really wanted it to be life schooling, to use life as your classroom. And so it's a complete rejection of the school system. And that's when I first heard about that, I thought, oh, how irresponsible, and how could people do that? And then once I really learned about what he's talking about, it's an amazing thing if you can do it right, and it really facilitates your children's education and learning.
It helps them learn how to learn and to love to learn.
We did that for a while, and actually it was really wonderful. And but it's not the one that we currently do. So then the 4th one, the one that we currently do,
world schooling.
And so it can be unschooling. So what I do is what we do, I guess, rather, is that we have some certain things that we require our children to do and to learn. They're not always excited about it, but we try to do the best that we can. But most of the time we try to learn from the world around us, from the traveling that we do. History, like being here in Hawaii, we've gotten to know the history. They've done dance, they've learned language, they've learned culture.
They've learned more about World War II, going to Pearl Harbor.
And so we try to create these learning experiences from their environment, so it's very hands-on. That's one that we choose to do, and try to keep their imagination, their curiosity, and their ambition alive.
Yeah, kind of do a little. Even though it's summer right now, they're still at home doing schooling.
We believe that learning happens all day, every day, 365 days a year, not just 180 days a year from certain hours to certain hours. So we're always learning, always trying to be curious.
But you have to be conscious, though, of the laws of homeschooling and of schooling, period. So when we started homeschooling in Iowa, we had to read up on the laws and see what it was about. And there were homeschooling groups that helped
you out. We had great homeschooling groups.
In Iowa, it was great. But now, since we're moving everywhere, we chose our state residency of Texas. Their homeschooling laws were a little bit more lenient, which could be good.
It has a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
because if you care about education, then you have the world is your oyster. You can do any type of schooling, and it's amazing, or you can just neglect your children. Yeah. So we hope most people are loving learning.
Yep, and also the reason we chose Texas is because I was the driver's ed instructor. So
that he's able to teach the boys, and they recorded it, and and they're able to get licenses.
Yeah.
So now we have some online schooling resources we love, and we'll put these also in the information box. So make sure to check there. But the first one is check out, there's a lot of free online college classes.
Yeah, even like
BYU does some.
does a lot of
Harvard,
free.
I believe, does some.
Yeah.
And so check those out. You can get some really good educational resources.
Yeah.
The second one I absolutely love is Udemy. Udemy has brilliant people teaching all sorts of things, from music to 3D printing to math to writing a book to, and they're, if you wait, they go on sale for like $9.99 or $15. So it's really good. So what we've done for our kids is when they turn 14, they get $1,000, and that $1,000 is to only be used towards their education. And so they buy these things and they finish them because it's their money and they're invested in it.
And then we've also done Khan Academy.
Khan Academy is free.
A very popular one. And then YouTube.
Oh, YouTube.
You can learn anything on YouTube.
My favorite YouTube is Crash Course. It's like 10 minutes like of history from like the beginning of time to current, and they also have math and they have science, they have literature. They'll go through each like era, and I mean it's amazing.
I even use it. I use it for massage therapy, for anatomy. It's great.
Anatomy and biology is all Crash Course. Crash Course is phenomenal. Another one I love is Craftsy, and most people haven't heard about Craftsy, but there's a whole bunch of cooking classes on there. And what's great is you buy the cooking class and it tells you everything you need, walks you through it, amazing videos, world class. And then if you have questions, you can answer, and like the chef will write you back, or it teaches sewing, or it teaches metallurgy. It teaches so many different things, and you can actually have conversations with the teachers. So this is my favorite, one of my favorites.
And then there's all sorts of different apps that you can find, like History app, the History Channel app for Smithsonian. Yeah, so much out there you can learn from, rather than just being stuck at a desk, which people like. And
it sticks in their brains.
Because they want to learn
They want to learn this. Yeah. So we're going to talk about some of the perks of traveling. So one is on-location learning. There's really not much more anything more powerful than for us to visit Pearl Harbor and to have talked about it and read about it and researched it, and then to go visit it and hear the stories and see where it happened.
To learn about the Gettysburg Address, and then being in Gettysburg where Lincoln presented it,
Absolutely. And so being able to make it real is a big perk.
Alcatraz.
Alcatraz. We went to Alcatraz. That was a blast. And then also flexibility of time. Like, we are able to do this when we can, it's a lot less expensive. I had a couple of friends whose kids were going to a class project. Sorry, there's a background. A class project or a class trip, and it was way more expensive than it was for us to go to Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
So we get to do a lot, and we get to be part of it, and that's the pretty exciting thing. So that's how we do school, and people do it different. Everybody does it different. You kind of try it on, adjust it here and there.
You got to just mold it to what works for you and your family.
And also keep going, because what works now won't work in a year, won't work in 2 years. And so, like, one of the things I did for my eldest is he needed to learn anatomy and physiology. So, so I had him learn foot zoning, because I'd been trained in foot zoning, and he was able to give 20 foot zones to get his grade accomplished, and he's still excited about it, and he still wants to do it. So just different ways to learn. So the things that we went over in this video are, again, types of homeschooling. Check out your laws in your state and choose if you want to go and be in a different state for different laws, you can do that. Also, check out lots of homeschooling resources online, because that makes life so much more fun. And then we've also talked about the perks of traveling and schooling, which is why we do it. And so we're heading to Europe, like we said, and we're really excited to get to know the history, culture, language, food, art, science that exists over there. So if you have any helpful tips, comments, questions that we want to use for future episodes, or to kind of fill in the blanks that we've missed, please do, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.